Good morning, students. Welcome to the Social Studies class of Geography, 8th Standard, Lesson number 2, Weather and Climate. In our last class, we have seen about what is weather and climate and its definition and its elements we have seen. Once again, we recall it. Weather. Weather is the day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at any place. So, it is a day-to-day condition. It gets changed every day. And climate is opposite to the weather. Climate is defined as the average condition of weather of a place or a region. It won't get changed often like weather. This weather and climate has 5 elements. What are the elements? So, elements of weather and climate. First one is temperature, rainfall, air pressure, humidity and wind. So, these are all the elements will decide the particular place, weather and climate. So, these 5 elements we must know well. So, in the last class we have seen deeply about what is temperature, how do we measure the temperature, everything we have seen. So, in this class we will see the rest of the topic of temperature and the other elements. Yes, students, let me move into the class. So, first topic is about heat zones of the earth. Based on the heat received from the sun, the earth is divided into 3 heat zones. How many heat zones? 3 heat zones based on the heat received from the sun. We have already seen the shape of the earth. What is the shape of the earth? The shape of the earth is spherical shape, isn't it? See the spherical shape. It inclined 23.5 degree. So, it received different types of rays of the sun. In some place receive direct rays, some receive slanting rays and some won't receive any rays of the sun. So, our earth experiences different types of temperature, isn't it? So, based on that our earth has 3 heat zones. First one is torrid zone, next temperate zone, another one is frigid zone. This everything we will see now. First topic is torrid zone. Torrid zone is between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. These two imaginary line is Tropic of Cancer is above the equator and Tropic of Capricorn is below the equator. So, this place enjoys the direct rays, receives the direct rays of the sun. So, it is torrid zone. It receives the direct rays of the sun, So, it also known as tropical zone. Okay, a tropical zone. Next one is temperate zone. Temperate zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. We already seen, our earth has divided into 2 hemispheres. Below part is, bottom is southern hemisphere and upper part is northern hemisphere. In northern hemisphere, Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle enjoys the temperate zone. And between in southern hemisphere, the temperate zone lies between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere. It receives the slanting rays of the sun. This is not a direct rays. If it receives direct rays, it get more temperature and heat. But it receives the slanting rays of the sun. Thus, it experiences moderate temperature. Moderate temperature means that is medium temperature. Not high, not low. It is medium temperature. Next one is frigid zone. Frigid zone lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in northern hemisphere and between the Antarctic Circle and South Pole in the southern hemisphere. It receives the extremely low temperature from the sun. So, it fully covered with the snow. So, this zone also called as the polar zone. See here, students, heat zones. See the sun gives the direct rays towards the equator. So that equator line, that is from the Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn, enjoys the, what is that, torrid zone, that yellow color part. Another one, see in upper part, Tropic of Cancer to Arctic Circle, that green color, that enjoys temperate zone because it receives slanting rays of the sun. In bottom southern hemisphere, see Tropic of Capricorn to Antarctic Circle, also temperate zone because it also receives the slanting rays of the sun. But in the polar, both polar, North Pole and South Pole, see, both receive the very low temperature. Especially see the North Pole, it won't receive much temperature, isn't it? So it is called as polar zone. That's why Antarctica and Arctic Circle enjoys the covered with snow. Okay students. Next we will see about the elements. With this picture you can identify, that is rainfall. What is rain? Rain is the liquid water in the form of droplets that have condensed from the atmospheric water vapor and then become heavy enough to fall under the gravity. So that is called rain. Rainfall is high in equatorial region and decreases toward the poles. That is, in equatorial region it receives the high rainfall, but in polar region it receives very low rainfall because in the polar side that water vapor level is very low, so it get very low temperature. But in equatorial side there is more water vapor which condensed and then fall as a rainfall. The rainfall actually measured by the instrument known as rain gauge. What is that? Rain gauge. Rainfall measured by dash. What is that? The rainfall is measured by instrument known as rain gauge. Next one is air pressure. What is that? Air pressure. The weight of the air above a given area on the earth's surface is called atmospheric pressure. Weight of the air that is given above in a particular area is known as the atmospheric pressure. This air pressure measured by the instrument barometer. What is that? Barometer. The standard air pressure at the sea level. In sea level the air pressure is 1013.25 MB. At the earth's surface the pressure is 1.03 kilogram per square centimeter. So it is different. In a sea level it is 13.25 MB. In a surface level that is 1.03 kilogram per square meter. So based on the level of pressure it is categorized into two types. What are that? One is low pressure, another one is high pressure. So based on its level there is two category. One is low pressure, another one is high pressure. How do we measure the low pressure and high pressure? See, low pressure system is marked as the letter capital letter L, and the high pressure system marked as the capital letter H. Where? On the weather map. With that they easily identify that which is low pressure, which is high pressure. Okay students. The low pressure also called as depression and cyclone. In a news itself you can see that because of the low pressure it gets more rainfall. So the low pressure also called as depression and cyclone. High pressure also called as anticyclone. What is that? Anticyclone. Low pressure. Because of low pressure it leads to cloudiness. In the where get low pressure it leads to the cloudiness, wind and precipitation. What is precipitation? I told you already, no? Precipitation is rainfall. Okay. But high pressure would not make any change. It leads to fair and calm weather. It won't make any changes in that atmosphere. But low pressure leads to cloudiness, wind and precipitation, that is rainfall. But high pressure leads to fair and calm weather. Okay students. Next, how do you find that air pressure? Where is high pressure? Where is low pressure? With that, we have one chart. That chart name is isobar. So, with that isobar, we can easily identify the distribution of air pressure among the world. So, meteorologist uses barometer or aneroid barometer to measure the air pressure of particular place. What are the which instrument used to measure the air pressure? That is barometer or aneroid barometer. See, so barograms, it's a scale. Okay, barograms are used to record the atmospheric pressure. See here students, this is isobar. With this we can identify where more high pressure, where low pressure. See the red color and orange color. So this indicate the high pressure, and see that blue color, sky blue color they have given, that is low pressure. If the wind move towards the low pressure from the high pressure. So see here students, in a sea area there is high pressure, in a land area that is low pressure, isn't it? So the wind move towards the low pressure area, no? Yes, with this. So the isobar help us to know about the high pressure and low pressure. Next topic is humidity. What is humidity? Humidity refers to the degree of water vapor present in the atmosphere. That is, how much degree of water vapor present in an atmosphere in a gaseous form. Okay, that is called humidity. Humidity actually ranges from 0 to 5% in the atmosphere. The level of humidity, it's differ from one place to another, isn't it? So the level of humidity decreases toward the poles. I told you, in a polar region there is no chances for evaporation, so there is no water vapor available in that atmosphere air, isn't it? So the level of humidity decreases towards the polar region from the equator, but in equator the humidity level is high. How do we measure the humidity of particular place? Yes, we have one instrument, that name is hygrometer. Hygrometer help us to know the humidity of a particular place. So it help us to measure the humidity. Which instrument help us to measure the humidity? Hygrometer. Next one is, there are different type of humidities available. First type is specific humidity. What is that? Specific humidity. What is specific humidity? It is a ratio of water vapor content of the mixture of total air content on the mass basis. So this specific humidity usually expressed in the grams per kilogram of air. So in 1 kilogram of air, how much humidity is present there in a mass basis? That is called a specific humidity. Next type is absolute humidity. Absolute humidity is mass or weight of a water vapor. Okay, mass or weight of a water vapor present per unit volume of air. So it usually expressed in the grams per cubic meter. Grams per cubic meter. Next one is relative humidity. Relative humidity is a ratio between the actual amount of water vapor present in the air and the maximum amount of water vapor it can hold. That is called relative humidity. It may be asked in short answers, so we must be thorough with it. So specific humidity expressed in grams per kilogram of air, absolute humidity expressed in grams per cubic meter, and relative humidity usually expressed in percentage. So these are all three types of humidity. Next element is wind. What is that? Next element is wind. The horizontal movement. The horizontal movement of air is called wind. Okay, miss. The wind move only in horizontal way only, miss? No, it can move vertical, that is upward also. How do we call that? The vertical movement of the air is called air current. So you must know the difference. Horizontal movement of the air is called wind. The vertical movement of the air is called air current. Okay. So the wind system is categorized into 3 types. What are the 3 types? First one is planetary wind, second one is seasonal wind, and third one is local winds. First one, planetary winds. What is planetary wind? So these winds are blow almost in the same direction throughout the year. So throughout the year it will blow in a same direction. It won't change in a different direction. Okay. So it blow almost in same direction. That is called planetary wind. Okay. So these they are also called as permanent wind because it won't get change. That's why it's called as a permanent wind. So example for the planetary winds: trade winds, westerlies, and polar winds. These are all the example for the planetary winds. Next one is seasonal winds. With the name of seasonal winds, it change their direction according to the season in a year. So as per the season, it get change. So it change their direction according to the season in a year. That is seasonal winds. These winds also called as a monsoon winds. So these winds blow from sea to land. From sea to land during the summer season and land to sea during the winter season. So that with this we can identify, it gets it change their direction. In the summer season it blow from the sea to land. In winter season it blow from the land to sea. Okay, so that's why it is called as a monsoon wind. Next one is local winds. See the word local. So local winds are blow over a small area only during a particular time of a day or a short period of a year. That is called a local winds. In a local area, in a particular time, in a particular area only it can blow. So that's why it is called as a local wind. Example for the local wind is land breeze and sea breeze. That is the example for local winds. Next one is how do we measure the wind direction and wind speed? We have some instruments to measure that. What are the instruments? To measure the wind speed, we have the instrument anemometer. What is that? Anemometer. Next one is to measure the wind direction, we have the instrument that is wind van or weather clock. Help us to find the direction of a wind. Next one is we have the scale for measuring the wind speed, that is Beaufort scale. And next one is metrographer or Tripler register help us to record the wind speed, direction, sunshine and precipitation. This everything is record with the help of this register name is metrograph or triple register. See students, I have given you the images of instruments help us to measure the elements. First one is what is that? Thermometer. Thermometer help us to measure the temperature. Next one is barometer. Barometer help us to measure the air pressure. And next one is anemometer. Help us to measure the wind speed. Wind van help us to measure the find the wind direction. See this one, hygrometer. Hygrometer help us to know about the humidity of a particular place. And rain gauge help us to measure the rainfall. So these are all the elements help us to know help us to measure the elements of weather and climates. So I hope you all have understand the concept of this lesson, weather and climate and its elements. Okay, thank you students.